All right, what is going on, Bree? Hi, welcome back. We have some crazy, or maybe not crazy updates, but we have some updates on some of the cases, some of the criminal cases that we have been covering on the channel. We have a Young Thug trial paused, which could potentially be a good thing because I was like a week or two or a week and a half behind. So maybe now I could take some time to actually catch up on the case. As far as Charlie Edelson goes, he got his sentencing today. So we're going to go into that. We're going to watch a little bit of it. And then we also have Donna Adelson, who was actually arraigned. And then she also made a motion to kind of like get out of jail. She wants to get out of jail free card when she's barely even been in jail. So for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, we are going to go over it in just a minute, just to kind of update anyone that missed those cases we've been covering over the last couple of weeks or a couple of months or so, because Charlie Edelson, he ended about a month or so ago, and now there's already, well, not an update. We knew he was going to get sentenced in December, but it's happening at this point. If you guys are watching live, make sure you go ahead and drop it in the chat that you are here live. Thank you for everyone that patiently waited. I was having some technical difficulties where I couldn't hear the videos, and we're actually watching videos today, so I had to get that corrected. Still can't figure out what's going on with my voice changer and why I can't hear it when I do certain things on the soundboard, but we're going to figure that part out too. So let me go ahead and say hi to everyone that's watching live. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching on the replay, go ahead and drop in the chat or the comment where you're watching from. And try to join us live one day. Try to join us live. I am hot as heck. I don't know what's going on. Why would I wear this sweater and then expect not to be hot? It makes no sense. And I also don't have any water. So now I'm going to have to summon the husband to bring me some water. Okay, let's see who's here live. We have Summer Butterfly saying hello and good evening. Hello and welcome back to the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. We got Kimmy Locker, our member moderator and paralegal for the channel, also consultant for the channel, watching, saying hello, everyone. Hello and welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you today. And thank you for getting the documents for us today. Jazzy G says, hi, y'all. Hello. Welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. Alicia G says, hey, Bree. Hello. Welcome into the live stream. Nice to have you tonight. I don't know if y'all can still hear it, but my voice is still a little crackly, but I would say I'm not sick anymore, but my voice still does sound a little funny if I ask myself. Angie says, hi, Bree. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Cheryl C says, hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome back into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. And we got Lola Waterton. Hello, Bree and Live Hive. Hello. Welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you again tonight. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. It does help us out in the algorithm. And your girl is actually being, is it too soon to say I'm being consistent when I left for my birthday, like for a whole week, like 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago? Whatever. We're being consistent though. Don't worry about it. We are being consistent. So if you haven't already, do hit the like button. It helps us out in the algorithm. Let's spin it back to the beginning because I was a little frazzled in the intro and I didn't really say what I wanted to say. We have 3 cases that we're going to be going on today. You might notice within the last 5 minutes or so, I actually changed the thumbnail. We're no longer talking about Selena Gomez, but we are going to be talking about Donna Adelson. Who is Donna Adelson? She is the mother of Charlie Adelson, who is just convicted of what? Murder for hire, conspiracy, and murder. All 3 things he was just convicted of and actually sentenced of today. So we'll go over his sentencing. But Donna Adelson is actually being arraigned. I did not have time to watch her video. So that one is going to be a live reaction. And Kimmy is helping us get the timestamp so that we're not watching, I think it's like an hour and a half long video to see what role she played in it. We went over her probable cause affidavit and it really talked about all the same stuff they said that she did in Charlie's case. It didn't really add anything new to it. We knew she was talking to him on the phone. We knew they were talking in code. We knew they had a lot of communication during the time that it happened and after the time that it happened when they were communicating about paying the actual hitman. So she's being arraigned today, and she also has a motion to be, taken out of jail so she can be on house arrest, as if she has not lived a good enough life the last 10 years when no one can figure out, or I guess we figured out a little bit of who did it, but the why, who done it, who told them to do it, these people that didn't even know Dan Markel, she got to live like 10 years out on house arrest. Not even on house arrest. My girl was going on vacation. And let's not forget that my girl tried to flee the country. I forgot about that. Let's not forget that my girl tried to flee the country, because she definitely did. And I definitely forgot about that. So no, you just have to deal with the bad conditions in jail. You should have thought about it before you were involved in a hire for murder plot, okay? And then we have Charlie Edelson, her lovely son, light of her eye. I think she has one other son, but Charlie, the one that did the do for her, paid the money, found the girlfriend that can find the people to knock Dan Markel off of the planet. He is sentenced today. Remember, last month he was already convicted of the murder for hire and of the conspiracy to commit murder. I know YouTube is not going to like me. Y'all know YouTube did not like me for the case that we did. What is even his name at this point? I forget his name. The Marvel guy. Why is his name slipping my mind? I cannot think of his name. But yeah, YouTube did not like that. They put a little yellow flag on my video because they said the content was not suitable for ads, meaning that we talked about too many bad things in that live stream. So if you haven't already liked the video from what is his name? I cannot remember his name to save my life. Jonathan Majors, thank you, Kimmy. I completely forgot. I was like, I know it's a J, but I could not think of the J name. And then the name I had in my head was way too simple. And I guess it is a simple name. But yes, Jonathan Majors, if you have not watched that video, make sure you go back and watch it, and also hit the like button, because YouTube is not liking that video and we want more friends. We got a good amount of views on it with them liking it or not, right? Okay, so, and then lastly, or I guess firstly, we're going to jump into Young Thug. I had an article for this particular one, but I lost it. It's on my phone and I did not put it on the computer, so I cannot pull it up. Let's talk about Young Thug. Young Thug is currently on trial for basically being a part of a gang. He's on trial for RICO and having drugs with the intent to distribute the drugs and sell them, right? But then there's also five other defendants that are on trial with him for a variety of things, including like possessions of gun. I think Young Thug also has a possession of gun charge with a machine gun. And there's five other people that are on trial for several other reasons, including being in the gang. But two of them, I believe, are still on trial for the murder of one, I think Donovan somebody, forget his last name. But they're also on trial for the murder in this trial, along with all the other charges that's going on all across the world. We don't know which way we're going to be pulled in what direction. I'll be honest with y'all. I have not watched that trial since opening statements, and I didn't even get through all of opening statements. So when I say I'm behind on that case, I am absolutely behind on that case. But the court is giving a little break for the jury. So maybe I will have time to catch on it. Originally, the break was for the holiday. Well, the jury doesn't want to come to court and go to trial over these kids, not even kids, these men that are allegedly committing all of these crimes that they're trying to catch on the RICO. They were going to give them a Christmas break, I think, starting this Friday. However, one of the defendants, who is named Shannon Stillwell, which is one of the most normal names out of all of the defendants on the chopping block, basically, he was stabbed several times in jail. So the court had the jury come to court on Monday, ready and willing to get started. The judge sent the jury home saying that there was a medical issue. And then they came back on Tuesday and the judge let them know that the medical issue is still ongoing and that basically they're releasing the jury early for their break. Now, I don't know many details into who stabbed him, why they stabbed him, whatever the heck went on there, but I do know that he was stabbed in jail several times and he is currently in the hospital trying to recover from those injuries. And I said, and then they came on Tuesday and he sent them home again. It is Tuesday, Bree. What are you talking about? It's still Tuesday. So yes, the trial is going to be on pause because Shannon Stillwell was stabbed. And one of the interesting things about Shannon Stillwell, or what his attorney thought was so important, letting us know sometimes he goes by Jackson and sometimes he goes by Stillwell, but he's all the same person nonetheless. I thought that was very interesting in his attorney's opening. He is one of the ones that is still on trial for the murder. He's actually on there for 2 murders. One for Donovan and another one for the other guy that I don't remember. I feel like his name is also Donovan, but I could be completely wrong. But there's another guy that was allegedly shot at a stoplight who he's also on the hook, which he was actually on bail from the Donovan shooting, I believe, when this shooting of this other person in the car happened. So he's actually on trial currently. Well, he was stabbed and now the trial is paused. He's actually on trial for 2 murders, and I think it's kind of ironic that someone tried to off him, basically. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. I thought that was very interesting that him being the one that's on trial for 2 unalivings, he is the one to be stabbed in jail. I don't remember. I think there's one other person that's on trial for, I believe, at least the Donovan killing. So let's see what the peeps are saying. There's not many peeps making comments in the chat. So if y'all are watching live, go ahead and drop in the chat. Let me know that you are watching live. We have Nissa Howard, a member of the channel. Hello, welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight, saying hi. Hello. We have Mary Malarkey. Hello, welcome back into the live stream, saying hello from Illinois, Bree. Mods in chat, I like the holiday decor. Thank you. I don't really know if it's gonna be holiday decor. These little these little snow globes are like always up. So this one is kind of like a fairy, I guess. So I guess it's not too holiday-ish, but still holiday-ish. You know, it's from 2022. That one's gonna stay there. And also, let's see, we got Santa. We got Black Santa Claus. He is also going to stay there. So holiday decorations, sure, but they're probably going to be there for the rest of the year. They were on the back of my they were on my bookshelf previously, but I was like, let me put something onto the desk. So those are the snow globe peeps. The snow globe peeps that are on the desk, if you guys are wondering. We got Bree saying, I might be remembering wrong, but do you do IP law right? If so, there's a case brewing involving an IP lawyer false copyright striking a podcast on YouTube named Do We Know Them? I do. I'm not doing it anymore, but I did do like trademark law. So that would, and I also covered copyright as well. So that would actually be very interesting. If you know the name of the people, let me know and we can look it up for the next live stream. I was trying to get back into like the business cases today, but all of this stuff happened with the criminal cases. So we had to kind of jump on it. So thank you for letting us know that. Cheryl C says, I'm getting my laundry going. I'll be back to chat in a few minutes. That is okay. Nissa Howard says, watch Recovery Addict go over the bystander murder, where a bystander murder by malice, a guy who fled car accident, possibly due to medical issues. Yes. So she actually just got convicted today too. If you haven't watched, she got convicted today. She was found guilty of all the charges. I think her name is like Hannah something. I don't remember her last name. Basically, she was 21 years old. The victim got into an accident. He got out of the car, but he was allegedly having medical issues, like I believe either a heart attack or something going on. So he ended up leaving the scene. Miss Hannah decided to jump into her car, follow him to wherever he was going. And I believe there was either another accident or she somehow stopped his car by pulling in front of him. I don't remember exactly what. And again, he was having the issue trying to leave, again, trying to take himself to the hospital. And she decided that she was going to shoot him, and ended up killing him. And she was just convicted of several counts. I think there was like 6 or 7 counts in her case: possession of a firearm during a felony, murder, and I believe it was first degree, if I'm not mistaken. It was not the lower level. It was not like manslaughter or anything like that. They found her guilty of like intentional. And also false imprisonment was another one that she was found guilty. She was found guilty for all the charges brought against her. Lola Waterton says it was a diabetic episode, if I remember correctly. Yes, I couldn't remember exactly what it was. He was trying to take himself to the hospital, and people could actually see that something was wrong with him. And not only did this lady follow him down the road and basically impede on his ability to get to the hospital to save him from what was happening to him, she called the police. The police told her stop following him. And then a law enforcement officer was at the first incident, and he told her just to take a picture of the license plate and not to follow him. So she just on her own volition followed this man down the line. No comments on Young Thug. That is okay. I think that is pretty interesting that him being the one accused of murder is the one that was kind of had an attempted hit on his own life, right? So I think that's interesting. Welcome in, Cat Love Dreamin' Peach. Nice to see you tonight. All righty, let's go ahead and jump into who do we want to do? Kimmy, do we have the timestamps on Donna yet? I think we're going to jump into Charlie Edelson because, you know, he's been our friend of the channel. I mean, is he our friend? Probably not. He's not our friend. He's convicted of a crime. We cannot be friends with people that kill. Yeah, we analyze those people. Okay, let me actually stop that because I did that completely wrong. Let's share our screen. Let's do it by the window, and then we want the Dan Markel Charlie one. Is this the Charlie one? Yeah, that's the Charlie one. Then we're going to share it. Then we're going to enhance our audio because we are spiffy out here. Boost volume on. Okay, we're going to blow him up, make him all big. This is our guy, Charlie Edelson. He was convicted last month of, oh, y'all, I'm not even doing my little swoops. Let's do our little swoops. Let's do our little swoops. Come on. All right, here we go. All right, we got Charlie Edelson convicted of all 3 charges brought against him. He is now going through his sentencing. Remember, he's facing life in prison. He's also facing additional years for the conspiracy and also the hire, murder for hire. So what the heck did I just do? Okay, here we are. It starts off with, I believe, Dan Markel's father given testimony or given like a impact statement on behalf of Dan Markel. However, it is quite hard to hear for me. However, I will go, why am I saying however so many times? I will go ahead and play it. And then if you guys can't really hear it that well, let me know. It's about 15 minutes of audio. So let me know if it's not sounding too great. I will put it speed up a little bit, and then let's go ahead and check out what he had to say. This is going to be a blind reaction from me because I did not listen to the full impact statement that Dan Markel's dad gave. So here we go.
Good morning. At this time, we are going to start with the victim impact statements. Mr. Markel, I understand you are going to provide it today on behalf of the family.
And he's speaking for the entire.
You may speak when you're ready. Take all the time you need.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Phil Markel. I am Dan Markel's father. Dan, my only son, was born October 9, 1972 in Montreal, Quebec. During that time in Quebec, husbands were not allowed to actually be in the delivery room during a child's birth. However, since the obstetrician was a very close friend of ours, I was allowed to experience the most amazing of moments, the birth of my son. I will never forget the emergence of his head, and then those shoulders of an NFL football fullback, a boy of 10 pounds. There I was, holding in my arms this gift of life, my bundle of absolute sheer joy. From the time he was a child, my son had tremendous energy, intelligence, and great warmth. Dan had a vibrant, fun-loving personality and lived life to its fullest. Danny loved to socialize, dance, cook, entertain, and play sports, and dedicated himself wholeheartedly to everything that he did. He always looked to do his utmost to improve and achieve better results in every activity that he did. This desire of improvement and commitment to excellence was a defining characteristic of his short life. I fondly remember taking Danny skiing up the hills in the Laurentian Mountains in Quebec when he was just 2 years old. He rode up the mountain between my legs, holding on to the T-bar, and then coming down the ski hill, yelling with great joy, "Faster, Dad, faster!" Then, as he grew a little older, he played hockey at the local park. To improve his skating skills, he requested to take a speed skating lesson with a local coach who was from Russia, and he had a reputation of being a very tough coach. Dan persevered, and after every hockey lesson, he came off the ice with a red face, totally out of breath, because he always gave it his all. At about the age of 13, Danny developed the idea that he was going to Harvard University.
Okay, so no one's saying anything in the chat, so I'm going to assume that the audio is doing okay for y'all. Let me know, of course, in the chat if you guys can't hear it. It's a little underwater for me, but I can make out the word. So let me know if you guys can hear it okay, and then we're going to jump right back into it.
For his college education. He discovered that the acceptance requirements for Harvard were not only good grades, but also work for the community and charitable work. To achieve these goals, he revived his high school newspaper. He became the newspaper's editor, the business manager, and performed charitable deeds and volunteered in the community. After years of hard work and determination, Dan was accepted to Harvard. He graduated from Harvard magna cum laude. He went on to study at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem for 1 year, and then earned a master in philosophy and political theory from Emmanuel College at the University of Cambridge in England. He returned thereafter to Harvard Law School to earn his law degree, and went on to become an extremely successful lawyer, influential legal scholar. Dan served as a law clerk for a federal judge, worked as an associate at a prestigious law firm in Washington, D.C., and then secured a prestigious teaching position at FSU College of Law.
Yes,
in a few short years, Dan became a full tenured law professor before the tender age of 41, quite unusual. Dan co-authored a book and published many articles in highly regarded law journals and newspapers like the New York Times. Dan's work was influential, and he gave lectures and presented at universities around the world. Although Dan was fond of his Canadian roots, he was very dedicated to the FSU Law School and the Tallahassee community. He was recognized as a scholar who contributed and made a difference in the world. While Dan's career was important to him, family meant everything to Dan. Danny's marriage produced 2 boys, Benjamin and Lincoln, who were his absolute world and beloved things to him. Dan made sure that he and the boys came to Montreal and Toronto to attend every family affair and visit with all the extended Markel family, including grandparents, uncles, aunts, and many numerous cousins. Despite the distance, Dan felt that the boys had to know and be a part of family. Dan also made sure that he and the boys participated in the Tallahassee community. They were involved in the local synagogue. Dan left home at the young age of 17 to go to Harvard, but he always came home for summer vacation, holidays, and all family functions. Danny and I, despite the fact that we lived quite far apart, regularly communicated by text, email, and phone calls. Despite the physical distance, as time moved on, we grew ever so much closer. At Dan's suggestion, we would plan to talk and have a meal together. At the appointed day and time, we each would prepare our meals, set our tables with a tablet in the middle, and over Skype, we would sit together and enjoy each other's company for a couple of hours despite the actual distance. Dan's life was abruptly cut short, and he was forever taken from me, his boys, and the rest of our family, and all his many friends and colleagues. My life has been a total disarray since Dan's murder. Many nights, I wake up in the middle of the night in a terrible sweat with thoughts of Dan's murder and all that has happened. There is not a single day in my life since Danny's death that in one way or another he does not enter into my thoughts. And I miss him with all my heart. I'm constantly reminded of Dan's murder and his absence. When I meet new people, the topic of discussion always comes up when they ask whether I have children. How do I respond? It is difficult to put into words the heinous acts that took Danny away from us, the unthinkable pains that I must live with every single day. Losing a son or a daughter is something I wish nobody should have to experience. It's not in the order of nature. Danny is never coming back. We continue to hope and pray for justice and the return to normality of seeing and playing a vital role in the lives of our two grandsons, Ben. It's been a number of years since I last wrote a feedback statement, sharing how Danny's death has affected me. Despite our persistent efforts, we still do not have a real relationship with Danny's son, Ben and Lincoln. Visits are limited and very controlled. For 6 years, we were denied any and all visits with the boys. In the last 2 years, I've been permitted 2 60 to 90-minute visits, supervised visits. This limited contact is incredibly painful, and I feel like we have cut out of our lives. Not only have I lost my son, but I have effectively lost 2 of my grandkids as well. Even their family names have been changed from Markel to Adelson.
Yeah, that is true.
While we work hard to help introduce a new bill in the state of Florida known as the Markel Act, which gives grandparents important rights, unfortunately, our relationship with Ben and Lincoln has not been materially improved. As this bill was coming to fruition, there was a lot of negative publicity in the press and media about Danny's ex-wife, Wendy. In my opinion, Wendy was focused on improving her public image, and as a result, extended an invitation to us to Ben's bar mitzvah. Ruth and I were invited to attend only the ceremonial part of this important stage in the Jewish boys' life, and we were not invited to participate in any reception typical of this celebration. But this invitation opened the door to one of the limited visits described above. In order not overwhelm Ben and Lincoln on this important day, we asked to arrange a meeting before the bar mitzvah in order to make things easier on the boys, who we hadn't been allowed to visit in years. We were able to arrange a brief 90-minute supervised visit to Ben and Lincoln, and a few weeks before the bar mitzvah. However, immediately after our brief visit, Charlie was arrested, and Wendy rescinded our invitation to the bar mitzvah. At the time, she said that they were going to either postpone or completely cancel this bar mitzvah ceremony. Neither of those happened. Excuse me.
Take your time, sir.
Instead, my understanding is that the Adelsons went on to have the bar mitzvah ceremony and party, all without the Markel family's presence or participation. Missing out on this important moment in Ben's life was incredibly painful. After so many years without Danny, we had hoped to make progress in forging a consistent relationship with his son through this important life cycle event. Dan's murder brought his life abruptly to an end for no sensible reason and has affected a countless number of people. The legal community is deprived of Dan's wisdom and ideas, which made the world a better place. Dan students are deprived of the experience of having Dan as a brilliant professor and caring mentor, showing them a path. Dan's colleagues can no longer benefit from Dan's friendship, insights, and scholarly discussions and debates. Ruth and I have been deprived of our son, who has been taken away from us so suddenly and totally against life schedule. Ben and Lincoln must go through life without their father, who loved them with all his being. The boys have been deprived of their father's entire family after Dan's murder. We have no idea of what these two boys know or have been told about Danny's death. I truly believe that they have been brainwashed in all these years, from the ages of 3 and 4 years of age to the present day. I also have no idea what the boys know of us, the entire Markel family, our history, etc., and especially how much we all love them and how we wish they were active part of our family. Both Ruth, Both Ruth and I are approaching 80 years of age. At this moment, we are healthy, but one does not know what tomorrow brings. The wheels of justice turn very, very slowly, but so far we're very grateful that they're still turning. We're very grateful to Tallahassee law enforcement, to the state attorney and all their staff, to all our relatives and friends, including the hundreds of Danny's friends and colleagues around the world, for their constant support over these long 10 years. To all the podcasters who work hard to keep alive this unbelievable story. We are still waiting for Benjamin Lincoln to have a more normal relationship with the Markel family as we wait in pain and anguish. The Adelson family, in particular Charlie Adelson, has been a major cause of our heartbreak and the murder of our son Danny and the loss of our 2 grandsons. I have suffered tremendously, and we as a family continue to suffer. It is satisfying to see justice being done, and it would be appropriate to ask for the maximum sentence for the perpetrators of Danny's murder. Thank you. Today is a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Markel. Was there anything else that you wish to say as a part of your victim impact?
No, sir.
Ms. Capel.
So that was Dan Markel's father, Phil Markel, I believe his name is. And 1 second before we get into that, welcome back, Tanya D. Happy birthday. I hope that you enjoyed your Cancun trip. I hope it was wonderful weather. I know it's been a little bit cold out here, and when I went to New York, it was cold. So I hope your weather was a lot better. I hope you did a lot of activities like snorkeling and boats and all of the things. I hope it was a great time. Let me see here. So welcome back, Tanya D. Into the case, though, that was Dan Markel's father giving an impact statement. I like that he went all the way back to like watching his son being born to kind of what he watched his son do and then the tragedy of what happened. But I think what's even worse about their particular situation is not only that they took their son, but now they're also taking their grandsons. They don't really have a relationship with their grandsons, changed their last name. They probably don't know much about them. And now we're having all of these live trials. Those boys are going to see this at some point. And I wonder if Dan Markel's family believed that the Adelsons did this. I would think that they do think that he was involved in it. Otherwise, they would not have given an impact statement. They would not have been there watching the trial. So I don't know. It didn't really say like, I'm happy that you're being convicted because we know you did it. He didn't say that, but he did say that he's happy that the wheels of justice are still turning. So, I have a feeling that they are supporting the prosecutors with basically prosecuting the Adelson's family. I really hope that the boys change their last name back to kind of honor their father. And I really hope, like he said, that he thinks that they're being brainwashed. I really hope that the boys are not being brainwashed and that they actually have a relationship with their father's side of it. When they become adults or now or whenever they can kind of get that freedom. Mary Malaki says, this poor family and not seeing their grandchildren, so cruel in my opinion. Definitely agree with you. It's like, it's one thing to, lose your child, but to also lose the grandchildren that they produced as well. That's like it just adds 10 times worse to the issues that they're probably living through. Yes, of course. Happy birthday to Tanya D. Let me see. Y'all know my little soundboard's been acting up. I wish I had a little birthday song. I don't have that today. But yeah, we can. Happy birthday. I hope it was a great trip. I'm like, kind of like, oh, I wish I was on vacation. But like, no, you need to get to work. Bree, get back to work and get the channel going. Okay, and so next we're going to go ahead and listen to Charlie Edelson. He actually had something to say. Let me know what y'all think he said. I'm going to go ahead and play it, and let me know if you believe him, okay? So let's see what.
We do have some letters which we submitted to the court. As Your Honor received those and had an opportunity to review them.
I did. I was able to review the letters. They were also a part of the pre-sentence investigation packet, which will be filed in the court file as well.
Yes, sir. Nothing further regarding victim impact.
I wonder.
What is the state's argument with regard to sentence, at least as it concerns counts 2 and 3?
In regards to counts 2 and 3, Your Honor, we are seeking the maximum sentence. We're asking for consecutive 30-year sentences on both of those. I have prepared a score sheet in reference to those. May I approach?
You may. Have you already showed the score sheet, Mr. Rushbaugh?
So, but I'll.
And so you can either have his sentences run concurrently, meaning at the same time, or consecutively, which is one after another. He's already 47, 48, so if he gets 2 years, he's going to be in there.
Does the state have any further presentation to make?
And then he
The only other matter.
Charlie's going to give a brief statement. That's interesting.
Go ahead.
The only other matter, Your Honor, is that in reference to cost of prosecution, we've been attempting to gather up some of the necessary financial paperwork from the FBI and TPD and my office as well to see if we can come to an agreement with the defense on what cost of prosecution should be ordered in this case. We have not been able to do that yet, so I would ask for Your Honor to reserve that issue for 90 days. It's possible, as I said, we can reach an agreement on it, but if not, I would ask for a hearing sometime around 90 days to make a determination about cost of prosecution.
So I need to figure out how much.
Rashbaum, do you have any argument to make on behalf of your client as to counts 2 or 3?
Judge, we understand the situation. We just ask that those counts be run concurrently.
Very well. Mr. Adel.
And so they're asking about 2 and 3 because that's the conspiracy and the murder for hire. The murder first degree has a mandatory sentence of life, so you can't really get around that one. So in his attorney is asking for it to run concurrently so that hopefully he can get out, but he still has a life sentence, so it doesn't really
matter. I'm going to give you the opportunity to make a statement if you wish. You do not have to speak. However, this is your opportunity if you choose to do so. You may stand.
I would just like to say that I maintain my innocence.
Well,
so all he had to say is that he maintains his innocence. Do y'all believe him? Is he innocent? Do you think they got the wrong guy here? If you're so innocent, why were you guys having so many of these conversations? Why is he saying he's maintaining his innocence? Because he's going to appeal. He's going to appeal it. He's going to try to say, well, it should have been a mistrial. It should have been not a mistrial or potentially a mistrial. It should have been a summary judgment because they failed to prove their burden. He's going to argue all kinds of stuff to basically try to get out of this, just like Catherine McBanwa is doing, which I don't know why she came and testified while she's trying to appeal, saying that she was not involved and then got on the stand and said she was involved. Don't know how that's going to work for her, but like I said, procedural things can also get you out of that. Tanya D says, I did go parasailing and did a flying dress photo. Ooh, that sounds nice. Flying dress? I'm imagining it. I never heard of it, but it sounds like it's very beautiful photography. I would love to see it. Parasailing, I have not done that yet. I might be a little scared, but you did it. So it has to be okay. I hope it was a good time. Lola Waterton says, Emily D. Baker said she hopes the boys change their name to something anonymous so they don't have to have this as their legacy for the rest of their life. That would be a really smart idea. They already changed their last name before. They could do it again. I wonder if they even still have that same last name and like how everything is going. Like, I'm wondering if they're in school right now while all of this is going on, or are they being homeschooled? Because this is a very negative legacy and a very public case. Kimmy Locker says, I love the judges well in response to Charlie's statement. He was like, yeah, BS. All right, we get it. It was a good, his well was kind of funny. London Amber says, OMG, I finally was able to catch a live. Hello, Bree Hive and Bree. Hello, welcome back into the live stream. Nice to see you. Yeah, we've been, rocking and rolling, trying to stay consistent over here. So we're super happy to have you back. Suze Oster says, greetings from Florida, justice for Dan and family. Well, thank you and welcome into the live stream. Yes, I think they're getting justice. I'm surprised that the dad did not have to say anything about like whether he thought that the prosecution, got it right or not. Because I would really like to know if his family thinks that the Adelson family is guilty, which part of me, again, feels like they do, because even they said his marriage produced 2 grandsons. They didn't really mention Wendy's name until closer to the end of the speech. So I think they think the prosecution got it right. The Markell family thinks the prosecution got it right. And Tayedi says the judge wasn't really feeling Charlie at all, or his attorney. Him or his attorney, I don't think. Okay, let's jump back into it. We got Smalls, which is probably hella swanky, I'm assuming, saying, what up, Bree Hive? Hope everyone is well. Hey, Bree. Hello, and welcome into the live stream. I believe this is hella swanky. I'm just going to assume it is. Welcome back to the live stream. Nice to see you. Yeah, we're covering Charlie Adelson sentencing. We're going to jump right into the sentencing, and then we'll go ahead and jump over to Donna Adelson and her arraignment, and then also her motion to get out of jail. Like, girl, where did she try to go? To Vietnam, where there was no extradition laws? No, you need to stay in jail, little lady. Lola or Law Nerd Amber says, who thinks Wendy Bot is next? This judge might as well get to sentence the whole Adelson clan. That's what I'm feeling like now, but a part of me feels like that, like they would keep the case with him because he is familiar with it, but at the same time, they may move for him not to hear the case because they may start to see bias, because as we see, he's not too fond of Charlie at this point, nor does he, really believe him. In our opinion, he doesn't really believe him. So I don't know, but Wendy, I definitely think she's next. I do think she's next, but I think they also tried to keep her so far removed that they may not be able to convict her. It's for her, it's kind of like a guilty by association, but at the same time, she showed up to the crime scene and she also had the alibi. I don't know if there's enough circumstantial evidence for her, but I do think she will be arrested. Cheryl C says, I went parasailing in Jamaica and I'm terrified of heights, but I'm glad I did it. Well, I'm gonna have to try it. I say it and then I'm gonna have to try it. Small says, haha, it's me. Haha, it's me. Yes. Okay, I got it. Lana and Amber says, Donna Adelson, this jail is terrible. I want to speak to manager. I want to speak to your manager. All right, Karen Adelson. Let's change your name, right? Okay, let's jump into it.
Please rise. I'm now going to pronounce the sentence.
Going to let us know what he thinks or what.
With the jury having found you guilty of all 3 counts that you were charged with in your indictment of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder, I am going to adjudicate you guilty of all 3 at this time, and you are going to be sentenced as follows. As to count 1, the first-degree murder count, pursuant to section 782.04 and 775.082 Florida statutes, you are sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole. As to count 2, you are going to be sentenced consecutively to 30 years in the Department of Corrections for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. As to count 3, you are going to be sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections consecutively for solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The credit for time served that applies in this matter is how much?
597.
597 days will be applied as credit for time served in this case.
What does it
If the
matter?
clerk could please read all fees and costs that would apply as well.
Okay, and then so they're gonna go through the fees that he also owes to the court for having this case go forward, basically. So I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you think he was going to get that long of a sentence? Yes. I mean, they gave him the life in prison, the 30 years plus 30 years. So he's, like I said, he would be, I said 60, but I guess he would be 110 because he's almost 50 plus 60. You're like 100. I think he's like 47. So 107 years old. If for whatever reason he can get the murder charge dropped, but if he does the 60 years, he's not going to get the murder charge dropped because in order to be guilty of the conspiracy, the murder had to happen. So either way, he's going to be in jail for life. But even if he only had the 2 lesser sentences, he wouldn't be getting out to 100. And who knows if he would be living to 100. So yes, it was a life without the possibility of parole. So he's not getting out. He's going to appeal this for the next couple of years, trying to get out. And hopefully the appellate courts look at the discretion that the trial judge gave and they don't let him out, because I think the evidence was pretty convincing. In my opinion, I think that they got it right. I think Donna is going down next. And Wendy, like I said, I don't know if they have enough for Wendy. Kimmy says, I wonder if the judge would have run the sentences for counts 2 and 3 concurrently if Charlie hadn't said anything. No, I don't think so. Him saying I maintain my innocence is just part of keeping the record for his appeal. So I don't think there was only a couple of words said. So if he changed his mind that quickly, I don't think so. He already basically had the decision made whether they would have given an impact statement or not. He's considering the evidence. We saw how annoyed the judge was during the actual trial. Well, we didn't watch it on this channel, but I watched it and he was not very happy with Charlie. I can read his energy in that he felt like Charlie did it. So the judges already have their minds made up when they go into the courtroom. And really, there was not much he could do to change it from the concurrently or the consecutively. If Charlie would have got up there and was like, I didn't do it, you got it wrong, this court sucks, then maybe I would say, okay, maybe what he said changed the mind. But just saying I maintain my innocence is just kind of like standard procedure so that he can do his appeal. Rich and Mo says, do you think Donna and Katie could end up in the same prison? Possibly. Yeah, I think so. I think they said Department of Correction. I don't know if they have a jail or a prison. But Katie should be in prison and mom, Donna, should be in jail. So they shouldn't be in the same place right now. And they definitely would keep because they are considered co-defendants now, although their trials are going on at different times. They would keep them separate anyways. Toddler Hand says to Tanya D, ditto, parasailing in the grill and needing to do that twice because my feet belong firmly on the ground. Joe, you gotta try fun things. Toddler Hand says, that's an interesting name. Says the Edelsons are about to have a serious culture shock over the next few years. I know, I'm looking at him while he's standing there because he was so sharp in his suit and everything during the trial. And now he has on like the dirty prison clothes. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a change in lifestyle. The fact that Donna Adelson is filing a motion saying that she needs to be taken out of jail because they're treating, I don't even know if it says because they're treating her bad, because I haven't read the motion. It's going to be a live reaction. But basically like she doesn't like it in jail, so y'all should let me out. Honey, you're gonna probably spend the rest of your life there, just like the Markells said. They're approaching 80 and they're healthy now, but they don't know what's gonna bring to them, and they've already missed out on so much time on their grandchildren's life. So homegirl, I think you can stay in jail pending you going to your trial. That's my opinion on her. I don't think they need to let her out. Let's go ahead and jump into we're gonna jump into Donna. All All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and start off with the motion to let my girl out of jail. She's not my girl, but to let Donna out of jail. And then we're going to jump into her arraignment. Again, I did not have time to kind of parse through the arraignment. So bear with me as I try to go through the timestamps with you guys that I think Kimmy pulled for us. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's share the screen. Stop sharing the screen. Then share the screen. And we're going to go to this guy. Boom. All right. So we got the state of Florida versus Donna Sue Adelson. What a name, Donna Sue. Emergency motion to enjoin the jail for an independent psychological evaluation or release to house arrest. An independent psychological evaluation. Okay. Where are you going with this? Donna Sue Adelson, pursuant the United States Constitution, hereby moves this court to enjoin the Leon County Jail from subjecting her to the current conditions of confinement and direct the Leon County Jail to place Donna in a unit where she can prepare for trial and speak to her family or conduct an independent psychological evaluation in order to be placed in a different unit where she can properly prepare for trial and speak to her family. Alternatively, she requests to be released on house arrest, coupled with standard conditions for pretrial release and support thereof states as follows. Girl, you don't want to be in the unit. Okay, why? Why don't you want to be there? Donna Adelson, a 73-year-old grandmother. Okay, the Markells were also grandparents, so sure, you want us to have sympathy for you, but you're over here enjoying your life with your grandchildren. But I digress. Was arrested in Miami, Florida on November 13, 2023, after her son, Charles Edison, was convicted of murdering Dan Markel in an alleged murder for hire plot, and also when you were planning on fleeing the country. Don't forget that part. The evidence against Donna is circumstantial at best and a convicted Charlie, so your point is, while Donna has been charged with the crime, there is a presumption of innocence in this country. Donna is entitled to a fair trial, has a right to counsel, and has a right to against cruel and unusual punishment. To date, all of Donna's rights have been violated despite the presumption of innocence in place. Okay. On November 13, 2023, Donna was arrested and transported. Arrested from where, Donna? From going where? Let's acknowledge the fact that you were trying to flee the country. Like, let's really sit and think about that. Okay. She was transported to TGK jail in Miami-Dade County. Upon arrival in TGK jail, Donna was placed in a psychiatric unit because of the charges against her. She was placed in an isolation cell with a small sink, mattress on the floor, blanket, and toilet. She didn't like that. Donna did not have access to any clothes, cups, silverware, books, blankets, or toiletries, and was only permitted to shower once. Although she had access to counsel, she was not permitted to use the phone, to contact family members following 2 psychiatric evaluations. Donna was cleared within 96 hours of her arrest and placed in general population where she was able to contact her family and attorney. Donna's mental state has not changed since the determination by the psychiatrist in TGK Miami. Okay, she goes on to the transportation to Leon County. On November 20, 2023, around noon, Donna was picked up from TJK jail and transported to Leon County. Her transporters placed her in the back of the transport vehicle with no water. Several hours into the journey, Donna tried to get the attention of officers because she needed water in a restroom stop, but she was not able to get their attention. How was she not able to get their attention? She couldn't talk? Approximately 4 to 5 hours into the trip, when the officers finally checked on her, Donna was shaken, dehydrated, and unable to stand up or move. As a result, the officers had to call paramedics to a rest stop. I didn't hear about this, but let's go on. Upon arrival to Leon County Jail, officials put her in an infirmary under direct observation. She was then placed in a small solitary unit with a toilet sink, a mattress on the floor, and a dirty blanket. She has requested a book or Bible, but has not been given anything and has been forced to eat her food with her hands. The day after arriving at the Leon County Jail, one of the jail's mental health officials began questioning Donna about medications she was taking before she was arrested. Donna felt uncomfortable during this interaction because she could not see the official's face and wanted to verify that they were in fact a healthcare professional, but the official would not verify. When Donna made her concerns known, the official told Donna that Donna is a fancy white lady who murdered her son and now thinks she has rights. The official joked with the other guards about this outside of Donna's door. The official then said that Donna will learn that fancy white lady murderers have no rights here. What a line. Fancy white lady murderers have no rights here, and told Donna, do you see where you are and do you see where I am? I am out here because I am not a murderer. This is jail, sis. I mean, you would probably treat prison, not that you should treat prisoners the same way, but the way that you're on your high horse talking about you want out of there, imagine how like people who are not fancy white lady murderers are treated in there. Okay? You didn't feel bad for them. You probably don't feel bad for Catherine McBanois. You probably don't feel bad for Rivera or Garcia. You only feel bad for you because you don't think you deserve this. Okay? Since that interaction, some of the jail staff have treated Donna with cruelty. She has sometimes denied her necessary blood pressure medication that is inappropriate, and she has been prevented from showering for days at a time. In the 15 days that Donna has been in Leon County Jail, she has only been permitted to call her husband once on November 28, 2023, for approximately 5 minutes while guards stood watch. Yeah, that you're in jail. It was only with the help of an intervention of the state that this call took place. Donna has not been permitted to call her counsel at all. At one point, a psychiatrist working at the jail told Donna that she does not belong in solitary unit, and another jail official also told Donna the same thing. As a result of these cruel and inhumane conditions, Donna is becoming weaker and weaker every day. And because she can only last 15 days in solitary, there's people that spend years in solitary. And she's whining. Not that I've been in solitary before, but there's people that spend months, years in solitary, and she did 15 days and she's upset. As a result of the cruel and inhumane conditions, Donna is becoming weaker and weaker every day. And because she does not have phone access, it has been impossible for her to contact her counsel or take part in her defense. Despite repeated attempts to call the jail, set up video visitations, and or set up in-person visitation, undersigned counsel has been unable to communicate with Donna since her transport to Leon County Jail. Both undersigned counsel in the state have tried to get help from the jail to no avail. At least the state is helping. Argument. Donna's detention conditions violate her Sixth Amendment right to counsel. The Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees a right to effective assistance of counsel. That right attaches as soon as an individual is arrested and held to answer criminal charges. It is crucial that Donna be able to participate in her defense. Donna is charged with very serious offenses, and the case involves years of investigation and enormous amounts of discovery. Donna must participate in her defense by reviewing and discussing evidence in the case with her attorney, which is impossible when she is refused communication with her attorney and left in a solitary cell while her health rapidly declines. Y'all, I hate to say it, and I would feel bad for her if this happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't make it to trial due to her age and allegedly being denied her medication, and if she's going to be too sick to even go through a trial or even not make it that long in life. Donna's detention conditions are unconstitutional and punitive. They believe that she is being punished, basically. The United States Supreme Court has made clear that the purpose of pretrial detention is regulatory, not punitive. The Supreme Court has explained that a court must decide whether the condition is imposed for the purpose of punishment or whether it is but an incident of some other legitimate government purpose. The condition of detention is not reasonably related to a legitimate goal. If it is arbitrary or purposeless, a court permissibly may infer that the purpose of the governmental action is punishment that may not constitutionally be inflicted upon detainees. Here, some jail officials are intentionally punishing Donna, even though she has not been convicted of any crime in violation of her 5th and 14th Amendment right of due process. Instead of providing her actual medical care, the jail has shown deliberate indifference to Donna's medical needs by denying Donna her necessary blood pressure medication, not allowing her to shower, and letting her become weaker and weaker as she sits in the cell naked all day with nothing but a mattress on the floor. Why is she naked? Let's see. It has a footnote that says, even if this fact pattern occurred at the post-conviction stage, such treatment would constitute a violation of Ms. Adelson's 8th Amendment right, as deliberate indifference to serious medical needs of prisoners constitute the unnecessary and wanton infliction of pain. Okay. Such conditions do not further any legitimate goal and do not serve any regulatory purpose. Some officials at the jail do not believe that Donna belongs in the direct observation unit. This is no reason, medical or otherwise, why she should not be in the normal part of jail, where she would have access to counsel and the ability to speak to her family. Okay, I would be okay with that. I would be okay with her going into general population, but going on house arrest, that's a stretch for me, okay? Maybe she doesn't need to be in solitary, but she definitely should not be going on house arrest. She needs to stay in jail. Given the highly publicized nature of the case, the years of publicity on social media and national television, and especially the reporting in Tallahassee, which is a small community, the tensions are high and the community has taken a position contrary to Donna, which has affected her constitutional right to effective counsel and her right against cruel and unusual punishment. This is not fair. It is not up to any particular person at the jail to decide whether Donna is guilty or not. That will be decided by a jury at trial. It is unconstitutional to punish her before the case has been put before the jury. I would agree with that. This is the requested relief. In order to prevent further constitutional violation, Donna respectfully requests this court enjoin Leon County Jail from subjecting her to her current conditions of confinement and direct the Leon County Jail to place Donna in a unit where she can prepare for a trial and speak to her family or conduct an independent psychological evaluation in order to be placed in a different unit in the jail where she can properly prepare for trial and speak to her family. Alternatively, she requests to be released on house arrest coupled with standard condition of pretrial release. No. This is just the certificate that they are requesting to enjoin them so that she can talk to her counsel. Okay. What do y'all think of that? I don't think they should be mistreating her. Like, yeah, a little bit of tough love may have been, fun at first, but you definitely cannot be mistreating her because you don't agree or that you think that she's guilty. She has not been proved guilty yet. And even if she were proved guilty, you cannot withhold people's medication in jail. Okay? So could she prove that they're doing it purposely? Maybe not. I mean, she's also saying she couldn't communicate with the guards while in a van. I don't know how she couldn't get their attention. Because usually there will be a guard if it's like a van kind of situation where there's a divider back there with the prisoners as well. So I don't know if I believe everything that she wrote, but definitely if they're withholding her medication on purpose, then that is a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the chat. Rich and Mo says, do you think Donna and Katie, I think we already read that one. Let's catch up. Okay. Toddler Hand says, don't they try to keep relatives and co-defendants in separate facilities, or am I making that up? They do try to keep them separated. Depending on the state, I don't know if it has to be separate facilities or just separate areas, like different units within the jail. Angie says, I'm not familiar with this case. Who is Wendy in relation to Charlie and Donna? Wendy is the wife of the man that was killed. What the state proved in Charlie's case is that Charlie and Donna and Wendy, or they didn't prove Wendy yet, but Charlie basically conspired with the hitman and his ex-girlfriend to have Dan Markell killed so that Wendy could move closer to her family. So Wendy is the wife of the victim who is being accused of, her family is being accused of murdering him on her behalf. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Richard Mo says, I have heard lots of wiretaps of Charlie and Donna and also Charlie and Katie. Do you know if there are any with Wendy? I don't think so. They did not have a lot on Wendy in the case. So I don't know. I feel like if there is something with Wendy, it's going to either come out in Donna's trial or come out in her probable cause affidavit. But I think that the family tried to keep Wendy as far away from it so that they couldn't really trace it back to her family, because a lot of people know when someone is murdered, the first person that's usually questioned is the people closest to them, which generally includes your spouse. And Wendy would have been the spouse in the situation. Rich and Mo says she was probably in a van. I'm assuming in a van, but don't they also keep a guard back there too? Like she couldn't say, hey, I have to pee. They like she was like, hey, there's like, shut up, don't talk to me. But then I feel like if they would have done that, she would have put that in her motion. Leonard Amber says Trampart is the most opportunist time for escape. They don't just stop. Yeah. That would make sense for me. It kind of even seems sketchy that she was asking to stop, but 4 to 5 hours is a really long ride. They probably should have scheduled a stop because I probably would have had to pee by then too. Angie said, Donna, if you think jail conditions are bad, wait till prison. Yes, exactly what I'm thinking too. She's like, where's my latte? Like what they call her, a fancy white lady. You don't get a latte in jail, ma'am. Tanya D says, oh Lord, serious culture shock. It's already happening for whoever said that earlier on in the stream. Law Nerd Amber giving us a emoji saying, want to speak to the manager. Yes, bring me your manager. Let me out of here. I don't belong here. Mary Malarkey says, someone said that Dan Markell was a professor of Peter Tragos. Oh, I didn't know that. Did he say that on his stream? Peter Tragos is another lawyer YouTuber. His called Lawyer You Know. His channel is called Lawyer You Know. So did he say that or did someone else just say that? I don't know. So I couldn't tell you. Leonard Amber says, look, people should be treated better in jail, but this is jail, ma'am. Yes, they should not treat prisoners like crap, but you are in jail for murder. You're not even like in jail for a speeding ticket. You're in jail for murder. Not saying that they should treat you worse, but do we feel that bad for you that you have to sleep on a mattress on the floor? No, not really. At least you're not. And they could be putting her into solitary for more protection because it is a high profile case. I've seen situations like that where you would rather be in a cell with some other murderous woman that might shank you in your sleep. Is that a better option for you, Donna? Like, where are you trying to go here? You don't want that. I think they probably are putting her into solitary for protection, but I could be wrong. Tyler Hen says, as an abolitionist, I kind of feel bad for admitting I paid to watch live footage of Donna and them adjusting to their new lives on the inside, but I would. It would kind of be a good reality show. I'm not even going to lie. And also to see if she's even telling the truth. I couldn't get their attention. They probably told you to wait. You probably did get their attention. They just probably told you to wait, and you're used to people moving at your beck and call. Tyler Hand says to Law Nerd Amber, exactly. She's gonna have to better manage her expectations if she's gonna survive in there. She's already kind of older, so I don't know. That should be her goal, is to survive in there, to tell you the truth. Let's see. And managing her expectations, she's a Karen. I can tell you that right now just by her mugshot. Leonard Amber says, yep, Bree, she's accustomed to certain types of lifestyle, and I believe her entitlement will lead to her early demise. In my honest opinion, oh darn, what a loss. Heavy eye roll. Exactly. I think she's probably, and you can make yourself sick by stressing yourself. She probably said, I shouldn't be here. I should have gotten away with it. Really is probably what she's saying. I should have gotten away with it. Why am I here? Yeah. And that could make you sick. And she was already older. So yeah. Yeah, they said she was naked. Don't know why she's naked in there, but she's saying that she's naked. Mary Malarkey says, ma'am, your grandchildren grew up without their father. No sympathy for you. While she's happily putting them in a school across the street from her house so she can pick them up while their dad is, buried in the ground because of her kids. Yeah. And her, really. Because what was the motion? He was making a motion for her to need supervised visitation. And now, hindsight 2020, they get rid of their son. And now they're making the Markells do supervised visitation with their grandchildren. Isn't that something? That is something. YT3 says, this sounds like gross exaggeration by her drive-by lawyer. Yeah. The one that didn't even know the process in court. I forget what she was trying to do. And the judge was like, no, she's going to be transported here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's an exaggeration to say you can't get somebody's attention when I'm sure there's a police like literally in the exact same vicinity as you. She's probably like, excuse me, can I go to the bathroom? Or she was probably like, excuse me. They're like, be quiet. And she's like, oh my God, you're ignoring me. Do you know who I am? I'm Donna Adelson. I own a dentistry. Oh, let me get off the internet. They're going to kick me off the internet. Oh my gosh, let's go. Tiny D says, I agree. I don't think she can make it in jail. It's too much of a culture shock. I think so. I think she's stressing herself more out. I wouldn't be surprised if she's imagining some of the stuff that she's claiming. Toddler Hand says, is she in solitary for her own protection? They haven't said, but I'm wondering if they are doing that because sometimes they do that for high profile cases. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she was in there for her own protection, but I don't know for sure. Kimmy Locker says they're saying it's for self-harm protection because of the charge. They said because of the charges that she's being accused of. But again, she's already been cleared by a psychiatrist. So I get it like in the beginning, but excuse me, but I thought that was the point of the psychiatrist, but I don't have enough information on it. Tiny D says she's clearly a flight risk. She definitely cannot go home. No, she has to stay in jail. My girl tried to go to a non-extraditious country so that so that she was going to escape and never come back. And she would have never had to be in jail. It might not have been the best conditions where she was going either, but she wouldn't have been in jail. YT3 says, first of all, she needs a local lawyer. Yeah, her lawyer is like from Miami too, I think. Toddler Hand says, inmates not getting their meds is so typical. It's one of the biggest fears about going to jail. Or it's one of my biggest fears about going to jail / getting arrested. So not only do I believe it, it doesn't surprise me shaking my head, which is completely wrong. They should not be doing that to her. But like Toddler Hand says, I wouldn't be surprised if she's not. I don't think she's getting special treatment. I don't think they're specifically targeting her. The guards might just suck. I don't know. YT3 says they had Wendy's phone. For which part of it? Kimmy Locker says, don't forget to like and share. Oh, yes, of course. If you haven't already, do hit the like button, do hit the share button. Bree Hype, even if you just like and copy, share a link, it really helps the channel. Yes, thank you for the reminder. It does help. I actually got my little report in for the year, and I had a lot more shares than I thought. So thank you for everyone that's sharing the videos, or at least copying and pasting the link or whatever you're doing. So let me actually see. It says we had 979 shares, which is crazy because we only got like 600 new subscribers this year, which I was supposed to like get 40,000 because the goal was 50,000, but that's okay. We're going to try again next year. We are going to try again next year. Leonard Amber says Peter was on Surviving the Survivor and talked about it. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, as far as Dan Markel being one of his professors. Oh, that's sad. Rich and Mo says, where is my lobster and massage? For Donna Adelson. I was like, what lobster? Tiny D says, I feel like she's naked because her clothes are dirty, just in my opinion. She doesn't want to wear them because I wouldn't want to wear those clothes either. But like, you're in jail. Like, there's really nothing you can do about that. Tanya D says, I feel like she's naked because her clothes are, or I think I just read that in my opinion. Toddler Hand says, Tanya D, as filthy as prison/jails are, removing clothes because they're dirty would be one of the dumbest things she could do in there. Well, at least she's in solitary confinement, so she could just be naked all she wants to. Kimmy Locker says to Tanya D, being naked or having such thin gowns, they're essentially naked and somewhat common for self-delete. Watch in a lot of places. That is also, oh yeah, because if she's in there because of her own protection, they might remove her clothes so that she doesn't do anything to harm herself with it. Tiny D says, I agree, Kimmy, but I think she's just exaggerating. Right. Fair enough. She probably is exaggerating. Angie says, agreed on the prisoners and people in jail need to be treated better, but as someone whose brother has been in Cali State Prison for 15 plus years, I can definitely her jail stay is far, it's probably a piece of cake, right? I don't think it's probably bad. Let me not say it's not bad. It's probably bad, especially for her because she's probably never been in that situation, right? No situation like it. But it's probably not that bad when compared to other people like Angie is saying, 15 years in like a male prison, not freaking Leon Tiny County Jail. Okay. White T3 says lawyer did not understand extradition. Yeah, she didn't. That I can't remember exactly what it was she was trying to do, but the court was like, no. And the judge had an attitude. When I tell you she had an attitude, she had an attitude. Law Nerd Amber says she probably got their attention and they said, we'll stop when we stop. Probably, yeah. Be quiet. We'll let you know when we're pulling over. We'll let you know when you're not a flight risk, Miss a Murder for Hire. You probably set up a whole heist to come pick you up from the 7-Eleven bathroom at this particular exit. Y23 says lawyer is 7.5 hours away. Because her lawyer is from Miami. And she's not even gonna know the rules in the county. Just get a county lawyer. Tanya D says, why doesn't she have a local attorney? That's who she hired. I don't know. I don't think she's not a public defender. That's who she hired. Kimmy Locker says the psychiatrist that cleared her was in Miami-Dade jail and she was put in general population, but she's been back in solitary since transferred to Leon County Jail. So I think she's right. They should allow her to do a psychological exam again and then let her be released into general population. And then she's going to be either asking to go back into solitary or asking to be on house arrest again, because it's not going to be any better of conditions. She'll make some friends, but at the same time, it's not going to be as fun as she think it is. Tyler Hand says, oh, she's for sure imagining/dramatizing things in her own mind. She can't help but to, like she thought the best idea was to delete Mr. Dan Markel instead of just leaving her grown daughter alone. I doubt she experienced anything worse than what she's experiencing right now. And to tell you the truth, I don't really feel that bad for her because guess what Dan is dealing with? He's not even here anymore. So she can whine and complain and be naked all she wants to. That's not whine and complain and be naked. Yeah, I don't really feel bad for her. The worst thing is the medication thing, but I agree with a lot of you in the chat that it's probably happening to more people than just her. She's not the only one that's being deprived of her medication. Where were we at? Okay, so we went through the motion. I think Kimmy had timestamps for me, so let me try to find that. Thank you, Kimmy, for paralegaling it up. All right, so let's see here. Attorney appearances. We got argument on motion. Okay, so we'll look a little bit at the motion, and then I don't think we're gonna watch. Well, I guess we can watch the whole thing. So, okay. Thank you, Kimmy, for the notes. Kimmy be covering my butt, y'all. I be at work and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do everything. But Kimmy has our back. Definitely appreciate it. Okay, so let's go ahead to 16. I'm actually on 16.10, I think. Okay, so let's share the right screen here. Stop screen share, present screen share, share. Okay, we are this one. Yep, that one. All right, so let's hop on it. We're going to speed it up a little bit because we know they like to talk slow. And Kimmy already gave us a note that they are talking slow in this one.
Mr. Scalzo, I've reviewed your emergency motion to enjoin the jail. Is there any further argument or?
That we are now on day 22 of direct observation. Mrs. Adelson continues unable to participate in her defense. She's not permitted any papers. I cannot mail her anything. I did have a call with her on Friday, but only because Mrs. Kappelman facilitated it for me. And on that call, it was not a private call. Ms. Adelson was forced to put me on speakerphone with guards listening. There is just no way that Mrs. Adelson can.
That is a violation of her right to counsel. The guards cannot listen in on those.
Prepare for her defense in this manner.
Well, there is one question that I had specifically as to this issue. And I noticed within your pleading that you had quotes from your client and also some observations of what has been taking place with the correctional staff. Are you alleging that you have no ability to access your client or that there is limited contact with your client?
No, Your Honor, I'm not saying that there is no ability. The direct observations that are contained within my motion were not observed by myself, but Daniel Rashbaum, Charlie Adelson's attorney, had a visit with Charlie Adelson and he was able to swap it out for Miss Donna Adelson the week of, I think, November 27th or 28th. So he was able to have that conversation with her in person. I've had a conversation with her, like I said, over the phone. I have been told that I can do a 60-minute increment visit with her in person. There is no video visitation ability. So I would say that my ability to meet with her is limited. It's not non-existent. However, my ability to share, for example, discovery, paperwork, the motion I filed with Ms. Adelson is non-existent because she's not permitted to have paper.
Right. Well, we'll take up the other aspect of this in a moment, actually, which deals with the level of confinement and what is going on with it. Ms. Kappelman, does the state have any argument to make concerning this matter?
The state would defer to Mr. Toomey, who's here to speak on those matters that I think you're addressing right now.
Very well. Mr. Pimentel, Mr. Toomey.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
As far as this particular issue goes, there is no impediment to her speaking with her lawyer, seeing her lawyer, over and above using a tablet. The tablet has a headset that can be used as a ligature. Otherwise, she's free to enter the jail. Chief Mack is here. He's assured me that they can have a visit. I don't understand the problem that
not here.
is perceived.
She's
But
in
there is no
Miami.
impediment to an attorney-client visitation. Am I correct?
The first question, we'll have Chief Mack give some testimony so that way we have a clear record. But the level of confinement and also the current restrictions that are in place, are these because there were at some point statements alluding to self-harm during the jail phone calls?
And at booking here. When she was booked into the jail here, she made a statement that she wanted to die. Now, before she was arrested in Miami, she also had a phone call with her son, who's obviously in jail here. 25-minute phone call. I personally listened to it. She very clearly spoke about a plan to kill herself using sleeping pills.
Oh,
One moment, Ms. Adelson, please keep your comments to yourself. Let your lawyer argue on your behalf.
Herself. She's going to do
Spoke of a
horrible
plan to kill herself if she could not escape the country before arrest. That was known to the folks in this jail.
You
She got-
might escape
That's
the
why she's on
country.
watch.
Why you get this shot?
The mental health professionals see her every day.
Horrible.
They're not satisfied that she's safe. And it's up to them to decide it.
I'll give you an opportunity to respond, Mr. Scalzo. Mr. Toomey, one more thing before we move on into taking Chief Mack's testimony. Is there a specific procedure that the jail has for dealing with inmates with a threat of self-harm? Chief Mack, let me swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
If you can explain to me what the procedure is, Chief Mack, and from there, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, I'll allow you to direct Chief Mack on any other matters you believe to be pertinent. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Anytime anyone makes a statement or we get evidence of someone wanting to actually harm themselves, they're placed on direct observation. On direct observation, they receive a smock as well as a suicide blanket. And they're placed in an isolated room. It's the direct observation, so it really is. So we have a staff member outside the door that actually watches them around the clock, make sure they don't cause any harm to themselves.
When are the individuals who are under this status reevaluated for going back to general population?
That's done daily with yes care personnel.
Mr. Toomey, if you have any further examination for Chief Mack, I'll allow you to do so at this time.
Chief, is there a way for someone that's on suicide watch to have a direct visit with their lawyer?
Yes, so we will pull the individual from the particular area that they're housed in and put them in an office with just
that her attorney is not in the same
Are there any remote capabilities for someone who is in the suicide or close watch observation wing?
Remote capabilities?
As far as phone calls, Zoom, tablets, things of that nature.
That person will be escorted to an office where we can actually see through the door, a glass window, and the officer would stand on the outside and just watch them from the outside.
And this is related to any concerns you have about self-harm.
Yes, that's because of we just keep constant view, keep them in vision, make sure that they don't do anything or pick up anything they can take back to the room and harm themselves later.
Mr. Scalzo, do you have an examination for Chief Mack?
I do, Your Honor. May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Would you like me to proceed from here?
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Chief Mackey, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Matt,
Chief Mack. Chief Mack. Have you listened to this 25-minute call that Ms. Adelson had before she was arrested?
not in its entirety. I actually heard the portion where she was speaking of wanting to do a pact with her husband. I'm assuming that's who individual was.
Chief Mack, do you participate in the decision on whether Ms. Adelson needs to remain on direct observation?
No, ma'am, that's a medical.
Okay, is the medical person that makes that decision a psychiatrist or another person?
That's Dr. Sapp.
So Dr. Sapp, is Dr. Sapp a psychiatrist?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if Dr. Sapp has examined Ms. Adelson?
She advised me that she spoke with her on different occasions of being around the area while another clinician was talking with her.
Well, how is Ms. Dr.
Not
Zapp?
gonna do well.
Zapp. How is Dr. Zapp? Zapp with a C, I'm sorry?
If you could spell it, Chief Mack.
SAPP. Sapp.
Zapp. So how is Dr. Zapp supposed to determine whether Mrs. Adelson can be removed from direct observation if she doesn't evaluate her?
From what I was advised, she has evaluated her
Staring at
and
him.
also other members of her staff.
Chief Mack, would it surprise you if Dr. Zapp has not evaluated Mrs. Adelson at all?
I couldn't say that I wouldn't think that she would tell me something that wasn't true.
Do you have a report from Dr. Zapp establishing, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't take, because of HIPAA laws, I don't necessarily get involved with medical paperwork of that nature.
That's a good
Chief Mack, did you come to court today knowing that you were going to testify about whether or not Mrs. Adelson was on direct observation or not?
I know I was supposed to be here, but the extent, I can't say I was privileged to told that I was going to actually testify, but I was prepared.
And Chief Mack, knowing that you had to come here today possibly to testify, did you inquire how many times Dr. Zapp had met with Mrs. Adelson?
I did not, because they actually see everyone that's on direct daily, and it's more than just Ms. Adelson.
Chief Mack, are you aware that Dr. Zapp has never evaluated or met with Mrs. Adelson?
I can only go with what I've been told about this.
Chief Mack, are you aware that Dr. Pugh is the only psychiatrist that has seen Mrs. Adelson, and that was on November 27th?
I didn't get that information as to who saw her. All I needed to know, or all I need to be privileged to, that she needed to be on direct observation.
Of all the times that Mrs. Adelson has been evaluated to determine whether she can be removed from direct observation.
Like I previously said, the only time I know they see them daily. And with that, I don't get any paperwork because I'm not a medical professional. I'm just making sure that her safety is taken care of.
Of course, Chief Mack, but just to be clear, I'm not asking whether you've seen any paperwork. I'm asking in preparation for coming here today, were you advised how many times she had visits?
But he didn't say.
Did you ask how many times she had been visited?
He just said there's a procedure for her to be observed, and he was told
I don't
she
ask
was
who actually
observed.
saw
That's
her,
all he
or
knows.
what the conversation was pertaining to.
Chief Mack, if she is being visited daily, would there be a report of those visits?
Yes, it should be notes that they take.
To the daily.
Right.
Okay. And Chief Mack, if what you're saying is what you were told is correct, there should be a report from Dr. Zapp and from whatever clinician is meeting her daily, right? About the evaluation.
Yes, I would assume it is.
And Chief Mack, did you know that Mrs. Adelson was actually arrested in Miami?
Yes.
Okay. And did you know that she spent some time in jail in Miami?
Yes.
And did you know that she was there for about 5 days before she was transported to Leon County?
It should be something like that, yes.
And were you aware that she was at a county jail, very similar to the Leon County jail?
Well, I've never been to Miami's facility, so I can't tell you exactly what they do or what their policies are.
Okay. Chief Mack, were you aware that Mrs. Adelson was also on direct observation in Miami-Dade County for a period of time while she was there?
Why is her
No, I didn't
attorney so
actually see the paperwork.
aggressive?
And Chief Mack, did anybody tell you, any of your clinicians tell you that actually Mrs. Adelson was evaluated by the same psychiatrist over a period of 72 hours in Miami, and she was released to general population?
I heard something of it, but I don't necessarily, I go by the contract provider when we doing anything in the way of health.
Who told you that she might have been evaluated in Miami and released to general population?
It was just something that was said. I think she may have spoken to an officer and said it.
Chief Mack, if she would have spoken to a clinician about that, you wouldn't know about that, right? Because that's HIPAA?
I wouldn't have known about it because I didn't speak to my clinicians. I just speak with them about Ms. Adelson in general.
What general conversations are you having about Mrs. Adelson with your clinicians, Chief Mack?
It's just how they evaluate her and where she is in her evaluation.
Okay.
If she's going to be released on a step down program or anything of that nature.
Okay, can you tell us generally what you have been told? What was her evaluation like? When will she be stepped down? What's happening?
That's something that they will tell me when that occurs, in the way of when she feels as though that Ms. Adelson is at that stage in the process, she will inform me of the step down process.
Who is she?
That's either of the Yes Care personnel. Normally, it's Dr. Sapp, Dr. Pugh, or Ms. Smith, Ms. Richardson, Corey Richardson.
Okay. So it's Ms. Richardson, Dr. Pugh, and Dr. Zapp. Those are the three people you're communicating with about Mrs. Adelson's treatment or step down process?
Periodically, I have a captain that actually is over medical, but I go through medical treatment.
Okay. Chief Mack, what did you do to prepare for today's hearing?
I actually just looked at some of the notes, even read the allegations concerning what Ms. Adelson was actually, I think it was more your
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there because they're just kind of asking about. He's not gonna have that many answers. I'll watch the rest later to see if anything else comes up, but he's not gonna. He's already told them. They tell me when I can let her go. What more do you want from me? They tell me when I can let her go. They haven't told me that I can let her go. I don't know what they talked to her about. I don't know if they evaluated her. Whether she's been evaluated or not, the court can just order that she be evaluated to see if she can get on this step down plan or whatever they're calling it. So her questions are not very good to me. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into the chat again. Toddler Hand says, oh, she's going to forever be a flight risk. If they let her out of there, she's gone. Exactly. House arrest is nothing to her. They'll figure out how to take that little alarm off her leg. YT3 says lawyer is a civil attorney. She's acting like it. And she says, even my 7-year-old nephew even understands extradition. Not this lady here. And it almost seems like Donna is coaching her. She's sitting there nodding every time she talks. Like, yes, ask him this, ask him this. Oh, the stare is ridiculous. Leonard Amber says, if we're gonna watch the whole thing, the judge does make a ruling. So her talk to manager hearing worked a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna skip over to when the judge actually makes a ruling because I think the question is going to kind of be repetitive because it has been repetitive, and I don't got 10 minutes for them to listen to that. Toddler Hand says, same Bree, I don't feel bad at all, not even a little, not at all. I don't feel bad for her. And her behavior on this hearing makes me I feel like she's lying even more. I couldn't imagine that lady sitting in the back of a van being quiet if she had to be. My girl is looking at him like, what you gonna say, huh? What you gonna say, huh? Like she's trying to intimidate him or something. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that she was unable to get the guards' attention. She's making outbursts. She's going to do horrible in trial. Horrible. Angie says, Donna, ma'am, you're accused of murdering, not embezzling. If you want a nicer jail prison, you should have just stuck to white collar crime. Right, exactly. You should have just tried to buy him off instead of trying to eliminate him. YT3 says Donna's lawyer gets caught being untruthful during this hearing. Does she? At what point? I don't know if I'm gonna watch the whole thing to figure out at what point to tell you the truth. Cheryl C says, the faces are intense. That lady is not being quiet. I can tell you that. I can tell you that for sure. Let's see here. Toddler Hands. Whoopsie, almost left the studio on y'all. Toddler Hand says, I know darn well she not interrupting her own attorney. Yeah, my girl is on one. She is on one. She wants to be released. Leonard Amber says, me thinks her attorney called and didn't send emails because there's no written record. And the thing is, she said, I can't, my visitation with her is limited because, I can't visit her. The attorney's like, no, she can go. It's just in person. You can't do the tablet thing because you have to wear a headset, blah, blah, blah. So, no, you can go. You just have to go there in person. Leonard Amber says, her lean to stare at him shows she has zero acknowledgement, let alone remorse for participating allegedly in the murder of her son-in-law. I would agree with that. She is a little intense, in my opinion. Kimmy Locker says, defense attorney, Dr. Zapp, Judge, Chief Mack. Can you spell that name? Chief Mack, SAPP. Defense attorney. Okay, Dr. Zap. Still saying it wrong. Angie says, I'm glad the guard brought up HIPAA. Yeah, exactly. He says, I don't know that stuff. They just tell me when I can release her. You asking me the wrong, you barking up the wrong tree, lady. Cheryl C says, this behavior just solidifies to me that she was fully involved in the whole conspiracy. No way she would keep her opinions to herself. She can't even keep her facial expressions to herself. And you want me to believe that she was told, or she found out that he filed a motion for her to have to go to supervised visitation with her grandchildren, and she was just okay with that? Oh yeah, no. If I might have had a little bit of grain of salt for her, a little bit of belief. Okay, maybe she didn't do it. Maybe she really didn't know. But after watching her behavior, oh yeah, she's the mastermind, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Leonard Amber says this attorney is probably a high-priced tax attorney, a personal injury attorney, and has no criminal experience. I don't know, but Kimmy did pull up the biography, so we'll take a look at it in just a moment. Leonard Amber says that's just a guess, but I'll be the attorneys. But I'll be the attorneys. These people's kept on retainer were not criminal defense attorneys. No, I don't think so. Tanya D says, why is the attorney questioning a judge like that? She is, I don't remember her questioning the judge. I could have just forgot, Tanya, but I know she's talking to the cop. I don't remember that part. I'm sorry. It's been a little minute since you left the chat because I was into the video too deep. Kimmy Locker says to Tanya D, she's okay. That's I thought she was questioning she's questioning the actual chief, because I'm like, did she might have snapped at the judge, but I don't remember that. Leonard Amber says, this man here is here to regurgitate the SOPs on how jails house people who have threatened to unalive themselves. He's not a healthcare professional. Yeah, exactly. He's literally there just to tell you the procedure. He can't release her until the medical professional says that she can be released. And mind you, while she's over here shaking her head saying this person never talked to me, she put in her own motion that someone was asking her questions, but they didn't identify herself. So how does she know it wasn't Dr. Zap Sap or whatever you want to call him? Kimmy Locker says, according to her bio, Donna's attorney focuses her practice on white-collar criminal litigation, government investigation, and compliance. So not murder. Yeah. But I guess since we're talking about extortion, she probably thinks that she can handle it because she's going to be a part of the extortion part. But Donna is not on trial for extortion. She's on trial for conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation to commit murder. So I get your white collar may come into play for the extortion part of it, but not the whole murder part of it. Angie says that poor guard is just doing his job. Exactly. And this lady is grilling him. Tanya D says the guards were just ignoring her versus she couldn't get their attention. Exactly. Or they told her to be quiet, or she was being annoying. Like, look how annoying she's being just sitting there. To me, she's being annoying. My girl just sitting there is annoying to me. Okay, let me go ahead and skip through. Let's see. Let's jump into a little bit more of the questioning. Let's see here.
Medical records, because I am the final arbiter in the state for this client. I decide whether the records are going out.
Very well. Moving on to the second issue that this raises, Mr. Scalzo.
So
there is a very specific separation of powers issue that this poses for the court. The sheriff runs the jail. I run my courtroom. The DCAs have been fairly clear when it comes to the court essentially directing medical care, what goes on in the facility. It's basically a no-no without an actual violation of the Constitution. What is my authority to actually step in the situation and give you what you're asking for?
Your Honor, I believe that there has been a violation of the Constitution here. There is, Ms. Adelson and I have not been permitted to talk behind this glass wall that they're speaking of. The first time we spoke was Friday. She was on speakerphone, I was on speakerphone, and she was sitting with the guard seated next to her. And the only way that that call was facilitated was because Ms. Georgia Kappelman was nice enough to call the jail and arrange it. I have called the jail repeatedly over the past 22 days, begging to be permitted to either speak to Mrs. Adelson or for Mrs. Adelson to speak to me, and no one responds. As to Mr. Toomey's response that nobody has called him, nobody has asked him for records, I tried calling the general counsel's office repeatedly in the past week to try to resolve this issue. I understand what's being said today in court, and like I said in my motion, I understand that there's separation of powers, and I understand that the court is limited in what they can do in directing the jail. But I think that one thing that Your Honor can do is, you have heard that the jail, and Mr. Toomey said it, he's the arbiter in the state. All jails run the same. The jail in Miami-Dade County cleared Mrs. Adelson, a psychiatrist, a mental health professional that works for the state, that works for the Department of Corrections, has said that she is not required to be on direct observation. She comes here and all of a sudden that changes. So I feel that there's some sort of disconnect. And I think that there needs to be a third party evaluating her to make the determination. And I think that that's not an unreasonable ask. That's something that the jail can accept. And I think the state is not opposed to that. So that's what I'm asking the court, to allow me to bring in my own mental health professional to evaluate Mrs. Adelson and make a determination whether or not she is a suicide risk, or for the jail to accept the determination or speak to the jailers in Miami-Dade County that observed her and made a completely different determination about her mental state.
Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, what administrative remedies are actually available to inmates absent the court stepping in?
Well, that is a key question when it comes to injunctions.
Yes.
There are two means. First, there's a grievance procedure in the jail that can and must be followed. Second, there is always civil suit, either in this courthouse or the fancy courthouse up the street. So there are legal avenues in place that preclude the entry of an injunction. There was something that was just said. I'm not the arbiter for the state. I am for this client in the jails that they have in this state when it comes to sending out the medical records. It's either by release or by subpoena. The authority is there.
Mr. Pimentel, do you have anything further to argue on behalf of the sheriff?
Well, Your Honor, I need to put something on the record first. James Pimentel, General Counsel of the Sheriff's Office. I've been Sheriff McNeil's General Counsel for almost 7 years now. I've never heard from this attorney. I haven't heard from anyone representing this defendant. Any assertion, sir, that they've attempted to contact the Office of General Counsel. I have a paralegal. I have email. I've never been contacted by this defendant or this defendant's counsel.
Very well.
You can't even say
I'm
nothing.
going to make my findings as follows. As to the issue of there being a Sixth Amendment violation where there is no access by Ms. Adelson to counsel of record, I cannot find that. However, Ms. Adelson being able to confer with counsel privately, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, is there an ability to make accommodation for that even in the observation wing?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. Chief Mack, I will work to ensure that. We have a protocol, Your Honor.
Very well. What I would ask you to do then is please speak with defense counsel as to what accommodations can be made so she can visit with counsel privately as she prepares for her case. Obviously, there's a very voluminous amount of discovery that's already been provided by the state. Is that correct, Ms. Kappelman?
Yes, Your Honor.
She is going to need to be able to speak in private with her attorney and go through all documents, all records, all manner of evidence that the state is seeking to use as a part of its case in chief. Does she have ability to use either a computer or some form of multimedia while in direct observation?
Your Honor, she wouldn't be able to do it while in a direct observation cell, but we would make accommodations through security to make that occur.
Very well. According to the policy that you already have in place, when will her status as residing in direct observation be revisited?
Every day, Your Honor, on a daily basis.
Right, Mr. Scalzo, as to issuing an injunction against the jail, I do not believe I have the authority to do so. The District Court of Appeal rulings, and I'm specifically going to cite Bradshaw versus Sandler. This is found at 955 Southern 2nd 1219, 4th DCA case from 2007. That specifically dealt with a trial court who ordered a defendant to be taken to a dentist of his choosing. Similar, by analogy, for me to allow Ms. Adelson to be seen by a psychiatrist or psychologist that is a third party is stepping on the separation of powers in that regard. Until there's been an exhaustion of remedies with regard to whatever internal procedure is available for her to avail herself of regarding grievances or other matters with the jail, an injunction is not something that I can entertain at this point. Did you wish to be heard further?
No, Your Honor, not on this topic.
Ms. Kappelman, did you have anything further you wish to argue on behalf of the state? All right, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, and Chief Mack, if you can get with defense counsel, I think that will eliminate next time the need to have any hearings on a basis such as this. Obviously, Ms. Adelson wants to prepare for her trial. She is entitled to do so, but the sheriff runs the jail. I fully recognize that, and I respect that. Do you wish to be heard further?
Nothing further.
Right, let's move on to the matter of the arraignment, also while we were here this afternoon as well. You are excused.
Into the arraignment.
Your Honor, before they're excused, I would like them to provide me the rest of the business card so that I may contact them. Thank you.
That's fine.
I go to you on LinkedIn because I couldn't find them.
All right. So basically, the judge found what we were saying. They don't have any authority to join them and make her get the evaluation. There's already procedures put into place.
As to the matter of the arraignment, does your client waive the reading of the indictment?
And
Yes, Your
the
Honor.
judge
Does she
is
plead?
going to.
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty plea is entered for the record. While we're here, we might as well have a brief case management as well. Ms. Kappelman, I believe you stated you've already provided discovery to the defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Scalzo, realistically, how much time do you think it's going to take you to go through what you've already received?
Your Honor, as long as I have access to Mrs. Adelson, as has been stated here in court, and she has access to be able, as you know, there's recordings in this case, and as long as she's able to listen to them and we're able to listen to them together, we plan to proceed to trial promptly.
Very well. I was thinking of when another case management date would be good to
Not give a
kind of keep a
timeline.
good status of this as far as where it's moving. Is February too early, or would you prefer March?
No, Your Honor, I'd like earlier. I don't, as long as I can communicate with Mrs. Adelson, I'm happy to have a status in
He's
January.
going to try to do something in
That works for the court
January.
and the state.
Ms. Koppelman?
Yes, sir.
He's going to try to make the statement.
I definitely don't want to push too hard too fast, but once we get locked into a trial date, absent there being good cause, we're really not going backwards. So I want you to give me realistic estimates as far as how much time it's going to take to prepare.
Holiday
As
season.
far as any depositions that you're already aware of that you are going to take in this matter, have you identified those? Have you noticed any?
No, Your Honor, because I have not been able to discuss that with Mrs. Adelson.
Very well. We'll pick back up with this then in January for status. Cheyenne, if you could give me the dates for January.
All right. So they're
All
just
right, we'll put it on.
to come back to the courtroom. Yeah, so the judge went ahead and was like, he can't order that you get your independent evaluation. My girl is not going on house arrest. They didn't even entertain that. They're just basically, he just basically solidified the procedure that they are supposed to be analyzing her on a daily basis for her to get out of solitary confinement when the time is right. But they're not the judge is basically not going to force it. They are saying that attorney from Miami can visit with Adelson. It's not supposed to be by video, but apparently they're going to make exceptions for her so that she can do it by video. I would have made her drive down to the court since she want to, work all the way from across the country. Not the country, but across the state. Okay. Law Nerd Amber says Dr. Zab. Yeah, basically that's what I got from it. Law Nerd Amber says she's got her nose up. She's disrupting. She's staring down people testifying. She is not going to do good at trial. And her attorney is trying to, from what I just heard her say, no, I'm ready to go back to court in January. We're going to have this trial go promptly. Basically trying to make it so that the state does not have enough time. But let me tell you something, girl. The state has already prosecuted this case like 5 times. They're going to be prepared. It's just another defendant. Same facts, same evidence that they're going to be using here. Larnard Amber says she doesn't want to go to jail. It's also above her caliber, which is why I think she's not a criminal attorney at all. They just go into jails all the time. Yeah, exactly how Mr. Rashbaum was in there and was able to talk to her client. You would need to go to the jail. She probably should get another attorney that's closer, to tell you the truth. I think this attorney is about to run her into the ground trying to rush the process. Cheryl C. says she got there and was running her mouth. Actions lead to consequences. Exactly. The attorney was like, for whatever reason, they put her back into solitary because for whatever reason, she said she was going to kill herself again. Like, did she not learn the first time of why she was in there? I don't get what you guys are not getting. Law Nerd Amber says white collar criminals usually get house arrest. She's probably never had a client in the jail. Exactly. So she's asking for house arrest for a woman that tried to flee the country. Not that she tried to leave the state, not that she went to visit her sister. She tried to go to a non-extradition company. Why do I keep saying company? Country, to where they would not send her back if she were able to escape. Yeah, no, that girl was about to get arrested on the plane by the air marshals. London Amber says, as a white people, what did I just do? Okay, I thought I closed myself out of the screen. As a white people, I firmly believe there's a reason they call it white collar crime. There's an obvious separation of how crimes and criminals are perceived. I agree with that. They're because typically white collar crimes are more business people, and historically, who are more of business people was white people. So we're just now letting the brown people into the business world, into the CEO world. So now we can start participating in embezzling too. And extortion. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not doing that. Toddler Hand says Salon and Amber reminds me of the difference in charges for cocaine versus crack. That is also true. Yeah. Or also the epidemic with fentanyl and Save Our Children versus, the crack and send them all to jail, or selling weed, send them all to jail. Right. Tiny D says, isn't he the judge from these XXS Tenacious, I think, trial? I don't know. He could be, but I just don't know. Mary Malarkey says, I like this judge. I like him too. He's very straight to the point. He's been dealing with the Adelsons all day this day. He just sentenced Charlie. Now he got Donna in there staring people down. My girl is going to jail. Like, I would be so surprised if she is able to get off, because she does not seem like she's going to be able to behave herself during trial. She's like, what? No way. It's like, girl, calm down. You realize you're the one on trial, right? You're the one in trouble. You can't be acting all outraged and all of the things. Now we don't believe you. Leonard Amber says this judge had this hearing with Donna yesterday, then sentenced Charlie today. Oh, okay. I thought it was all today. He probably knows what's up, but can't let his bias show. Yeah. And that's why I think that if Wendy gets arrested, they'll probably try to object to this judge. Leonard Amber says any bias show. I should have said, oh yeah, he can't let any of his bias show. I agree with that. Mary Malarkey says to Leonard Amber, I didn't know it was the same judge. Good to know. Yes, it is the same judge. I actually thought this all happened in the same day, but apparently it's different days. Okay, y'all, let me know in the comments of the video what y'all think. Let me know in the chat what you think. I don't think Donna's going to survive this. I don't think that she's being deprived as she is. She looks pretty happy and healthy to me. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with her. I would not be surprised if she gets up here and do her own defense, okay? At this point, my girl is very animated, and I do think she probably says things that gets her in trouble. So, yeah, I didn't feel bad for her starting off with it, but now watching her reaction and how she was like staring at homeboy, like, what you gonna say? Like, she's ready to fight him. That, like, the stance, the posture that she was given was a very fighting posture to me. It was a very intimidating posture to me. I felt like she was trying to intimidate him. Intimidating witnesses, that's against the law. You're going to get in trouble. So for my girl, I don't know why I keep calling her my girl, but I just don't think that she's going to be able to stand this trial as like you know how Charlie was sitting there like all quiet. He put his eyes down. He was so sad. She is not going to be so sad. My girl going to be like, what? You said I was there? You said that's me in the video? That's how she's gonna be. The jury is not gonna like her. So I would suggest that this, not legal advice, but I would suggest that this attorney does not rush the case into court. She needs to coach her client on how to control her face. A line that we got a lot as children, control your face, because she's very animated. I find it hard to believe that she couldn't get somebody's attention. I find it hard to believe that the psychiatrist never talked to her. Yeah, as you see, the sheriff department came in and said nobody ever talked to them. But also, I have dealt with police departments, and they do not be answering the phones or emails or anything like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if she did contact them. But the way that her attorney reacted, like she had no expression on it, like she knew she never sent them an email. I think the sheriff is actually telling the truth in this. And even if she did contact them, I think what the sheriff is probably saying, even if I didn't respond as soon as she did contact us, I just did a search of my email and I have no contact from her. And I think that's what the sheriff was trying to say. So yeah, Donna, I really hope you can get your behavior together before you go to trial. And I really hope that they don't give you any plea deal. Mary Malarkey says to Leonard Amber. Oh, I think we already covered that one. Tyler Hand says, oh, so true, Bree. Don't get me started on how the opioid pandemic or epidemic didn't become a healthcare epidemic until a certain very specific demographic started abusing them. Another prime example. Yes, that is a thing for sure. Kimmy Walker says, no, the XXX judge isn't the same as the Adelson judge. Okay, thank you, Kimmy, for that update. Leonard Amber says, but at least if you email the jail, you can back up your argument. Yeah, but they're saying they didn't find any of that. So I don't know. It's not going well for her. Sentencing for Charlie, I think he's going to appeal like we talked about earlier, but I just don't think it's going to go through. Young Thug trial, I will try my best to catch up on this trial. But I will let y'all know it's holiday season and I'm trying to turn up too. So I'll try to catch up. I will try to catch up. I was taking really good notes on the opening statement. But I just haven't listened to it since, because I'm also trying to do my TikTok thing as well. And also I need to start doing the shorts for this channel as well. So hopefully we have time to do the Young Thug trial. It's just a lot in our work. So we'll see if we're able to catch up on that. And then, Donna Adelson, in my opinion, she's going to jail. We're not even at trial yet, but unless she can correct this behavior, she has, to me, in my opinion, a very slim chance of getting off. Okay, so here we are. We are to the end of the live stream. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button so that we can get more friends and we can get in the algorithm. And yes, I will see y'all all on Thursday. Have a good night.